After the exhibition, Zayn took the initiative to ask for Zoe's contact information, saying he hoped to have the chance to appreciate her works again. Zoe hesitated for a moment, but finally gave him her phone number. At that moment, her heart was filled with both expectation and unease. In the days that followed, Zayn indeed contacted Zoe frequently. After work, he would call her, ask about her day, and share little interesting stories from his life. Sometimes, he would suddenly appear downstairs at her studio with a bouquet of flowers or a small gift, surprising her. Zoe gradually grew used to Zayn's presence, and found herself looking forward more and more to their meetings and calls. With Zayn's company, her life became richer and more colorful. They went to the movies, visited art exhibitions, and tasted delicious food together. Every moment was sweet and joyful. One weekend afternoon, Zayn took Zoe to a lake on the outskirts of the city. The water was clear to the bottom, surrounded by green trees, and birds sang cheerfully on the branches. They held hands and walked along the lake, enjoying the quiet and beautiful time. As they walked, Zayn suddenly stopped. He turned to look into Zoe's eyes and said affectionately, "Zoe, I realize I've fallen for you. Every moment with you makes me incredibly happy. Will you be my girlfriend?" Zoe's heartbeat suddenly quickened, her cheeks burning. She looked into Zayn's sincere eyes and nodded gently. "I will." Zayn excitedly pulled Zoe into his embrace. They held each other tightly, as if time had stopped at that moment. In that instant, they both believed that this love would be like the lake water, clear and eternal. In the days that followed, Zoe and Zayn were deeply in love. Zoe would prepare elaborate dinners for Zayn, her heart filled with pride as she watched him enjoy her cooking. Zayn also tried his best to spend time with Zoe after work, introducing her to his friends and letting her integrate into his social circle. However, happy times are always short-lived. With the launch of an important project at Zayn's company, his work became increasingly busy. He often worked overtime late into the night, and even had no time to rest on weekends. Gradually, he spent less and less time with Zoe, and communication between them grew sparse. Although Zoe felt a little down, she understood Zayn's work pressure and always supported him silently. On nights when Zayn worked overtime, she would bring him a cup of hot coffee and some homemade snacks, then leave quietly so as not to distract him. But fate seemed to love playing tricks. On Zoe's birthday, she woke up early and dressed carefully, looking forward to spending the special day with Zayn. She prepared a big dinner and bought a beautiful birthday cake, waiting for Zayn to arrive. Yet as time passed minute by minute, Zayn never showed up. Zoe called him countless times, but no one answered. Her mood gradually changed from expectation to disappointment, and finally to despair. It was not until late at night that Zayn dragged his exhausted body home. He saw Zoe sitting at the dining table, the food long cold, the candles on the cake burned out. Guilt immediately surged in his heart. He walked up to Zoe, trying to explain. "Zoe, I'm sorry. There was an urgent, important meeting at the company today, and I really couldn't get away. I know I was wrong. Please don't be mad, okay?" Zayn said apologetically. Zoe looked up into Zayn's eyes, tears welling up in her eyes. She choked out, saying, "Do you know what day it is today? It's my birthday. I waited for you all day, and you didn't even answer a single call. Do you even care about me anymore?" Zayn quickly hugged Zoe. "How could I? Zoe, I really love you. I've just been so busy with work lately, and I neglected you. Forgive me this time, okay?" Zoe cried silently in Zayn's arms, not knowing what to say. She knew Zayn's work was important, but she also longed for her lover's company on her birthday. Just then, Zayn's phone suddenly rang. He instinctively wanted to hang up, but when he saw the caller was an important client, he hesitated and answered. Watching Zayn talk to the client on the phone, Zoe's disappointment deepened. She gently pushed Zayn away. "Go back to work. I'm tired." With that, she turned and walked into the bedroom, closing the door. Zayn stared at the closed bedroom door, filled with helplessness and self-blame. He knew he had truly hurt Zoe this time. But he also felt he was working hard for their future, and Zoe should understand him. In the next few days, the atmosphere between Zoe and Zane became awkward and cold. Although Zoe didn't mention the birthday incident again, a knot remained in her heart. And Zane, busy with work, had little time to repair their relationship. Until one day, Zoe accidentally saw an ambiguous text message on Zane's phone. The content made her heart sink to the bottom instantly. She couldn't believe her eyes. The Zane she had loved so deeply was actually communicating with another woman in this way. Zoe walked up to Zane with the phone and demanded, "What's this about?" "Zane, explain it to me." Seeing the message on the screen, Zane's face paled. He quickly explained, "Zoe, it's just a misunderstanding. She's a client at the company. She probably drank too much and sent it to the wrong person. Trust me, there's really nothing between us." But Zoe had lost her mind by then and could not believe Zane's explanation. The two had a huge fight. For the first time, Zoe showed her anger and despair in front of him. "Zane, I always thought you loved me. I've tried so hard to understand you and support you. But this is how you treat me. What exactly do you take me for?" Zoe said through tears. Seeing how heartbroken Zoe was, Zane also suffered deeply. He knew he was in the wrong this time, and he should never have hurt her like this. "Zoe, I know I've let you down this time. But the person I really love is you. Please give me one more chance, okay? I'll fix this, and I'll never make you sad again," Zane said sincerely. Zoe looked into Zane's eyes, torn. She didn't know if she should believe him, if she should give him another chance. But she couldn't bear to let go of this relationship, nor the beautiful memories they once shared. In the end, Zoe's heart softened. Looking at Zane's tired and guilty face, her anger gradually faded. She gently hugged Zane and said, "I'll trust you one more time. But you have to keep your word." Zane Su held Zoe Lin tightly in his arms, secretly vowing to cherish this relationship even more and never let her get hurt again. However, the wheel of fate seemed to have already turned, and their love path was destined to be rough. Although the quarrel had temporarily subsided, it left a deep crack in their hearts, planting a time bomb for their future relationship. Days passed. The project at Zane's company was still in full swing, and he grew busier, often leaving early and returning late, sometimes even staying out all night. Zoe Lin watched his exhausted figure. Despite her complaints, she chose to endure silently, constantly reassuring herself that it was only temporary. Once the project ended, everything would be better. But Zane Su did not seem to realize that their relationship had already gone wrong. He still threw himself entirely into work, caring less and less about Zoe. Every time Zoe tried to talk about their future or simply share trivial daily things, Zane always appeared. Impatient, either perfunctorily responding or hanging up in a hurry, claiming he was busy with work. Zoe's best friend, Lila, noticed something was wrong with her. One day, Lila invited Zoe out for coffee. Looking at her haggard face, she asked with concern, "Zoe, is there something wrong between you and Zane? You look terrible." Zoe held back her tears and told Lila everything that had happened recently. After hearing it, Lila slammed the table angrily. "Zane is way out of line. No matter how busy he is, he can't ignore you like this. Zoe, you can't be this weak. You have to think about yourself." Lila held Zoe's hand and said seriously, "I understand you, but love requires effort from both sides. You can't keep giving alone while he does nothing. You need to find a chance to talk to him properly, tell him what you think and how you feel, and see what he really thinks." Zoe nodded, secretly deciding that she must have a good talk with Zane. But before Zoe could find the chance, something even more heartbreaking happened. That day, after work, Zoe went to the supermarket to buy groceries as usual, planning to make a big dinner for Zane. When she returned home with the bags, she found Zane was already there. Looking flustered, a bad feeling surged in Zoe's heart. She put down the groceries and walked into the bedroom. The bedroom was filled with a strange perfume. Zoe's eyes fell on the bed. The covers were messy, and Zane's phone was on the nightstand. Her hand trembled involuntarily. She picked up his phone, unlocked it, and saw several ambiguous texts from an unknown number. The messages were obscene. Zoe felt dizzy, almost fainting. She never imagined Zane would do such a thing behind her back. Just then, Zane walked into the bedroom. Seeing Zoe holding his phone, his face turned pale at once. He tried to snatch it, but Zoe held on tightly. "Zane Su, what's the meaning of this? Why would you do this to me?" Zoe asked tearfully. Zane explained in panic, "Zoe, listen to me. It's not what you think. She's been clinging to me. I never responded to her." "Never responded? Then what are these texts?" "Zane Su, stop lying to me," Zoe shouted angrily. They had another huge fight. Zoe's despair reached its peak. She packed her luggage and left home, ignoring Zane's attempts to stop her. Zoe went to Lila's house. As soon as she entered, she threw herself into Lila's arms and cried loudly. Lila gently patted her back and comforted her. "Cry it out. It'll feel better. You should have left this jerk long ago." With Lila's company, Zoe spent a painful night. She thought a lot, recalling every moment she and Zane had shared. Those beautiful memories had now become knives stabbing her heart. She couldn't understand why two people who once loved each other so deeply would end up like this. The next day, Zane came to Lila's house, wanting to see Zoe. Lila didn't want to let him in, but Zoe decided to meet him anyway. She wanted to hear what else he could say. When Zane saw Zoe's haggard face, his heart ached. He knelt in front of her and said regretfully, "Zoe, I know I was wrong. I'm a bastard. I shouldn't have ignored you, let alone contacted that woman. I really can't live without you. Please forgive me just this once." Zoe looked at Zane with mixed feelings. She remembered their happy times together, his gentleness and thoughtfulness. Her heart wavered. She didn't know if she should give him another chance. Tears streamed down Zoe's face again. She gently helped Zane up and said, "I'll trust you one more time. But this is the last time. If you let me down again, I will never forgive you." Zane held Zoe tightly, as if holding the whole world. He swore he would cherish this chance and win her heart back. Zoe went home with Zane. Everything in the house was still familiar, but Zoe's mood was completely different. She knew their relationship was already damaged, and fixing it would not be easy. In the days that followed, Zane did try to change. He tried to get off work on time, ate and watched movies with Zoe. On weekends, he took her shopping and traveling, trying to bring back the sweetness they once had. But Zoe found she could no longer devote herself to this relationship as before. Every time she saw his phone or heard him answer a call from an unknown woman, she felt nervous and scared. She knew the shadow in her heart had not completely faded. Although Zane tried to make up for his mistakes, the pressure at work still left him struggling. Sometimes he still had to cancel dates with Zoe because of work, making Zoe's dissatisfaction build up again. Once, Zane's company held an important business dinner, requiring all senior staff to bring their partners. Naturally, Zane wanted Zoe to go with him, but Zoe hesitated. "Zane, I don't want to go. I don't think I'm ready to meet your colleagues and friends," Zoe said. "Zoe, this dinner is really important to me. Please come with me, for my sake," Zane begged. Zoe looked into his eager eyes and finally nodded. On the night of the dinner, Zoe dressed carefully. She wore an elegant evening gown with delicate makeup, looking beautiful and charming. Zane looked at her with admiration and love, held her hand, and walked into the banquet hall. At the banquet, Zane was busy socializing with colleagues and clients, leaving Zoe alone in the corner. Zoe watched him moving through the crowd, feeling extremely lonely and lost. She felt like a decoration, only there to save Zane's face. Just then, a gorgeously dressed woman walked up to her. She looked Zoe up and down, then said disdainfully, "You must be Zoe Lin. I heard of you. But don't get too cocky. You'll never understand what's between Zane and me." Zoe's heart jolted. She looked at the strange woman and asked, "Who are you? What's your relationship with Zane?" The woman sneered, "Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is that Zane's heart never truly belonged to you." With that, the woman turned and left, leaving Zoe standing there stunned. She was filled with anger and confusion. She couldn't understand why the woman would say such things. Zoe found Zane and told him what had just happened. Zane's face turned ugly. He quickly explained, "Zoe, don't listen to her nonsense. She's a competitor from our company, always trying to frame me." Zoe looked at Zane, full of doubt. She didn't know if she should believe him, but she didn't want to quarrel in public. After the dinner, Zoe and Zane returned home. They didn't say a word the whole way, and the atmosphere was extremely awkward. Back home, Zoe silently walked into the bedroom and closed the door. She lay on the bed, replaying everything that had happened that night. She felt the distance between her and Zane growing wider. Their relationship seemed to be on the edge of collapse. She didn't know what to do, keep holding on, or let go. That night, Zoe tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Zane sat on the sofa in the living room, smoking silently. His heart was also full of conflict and helplessness. He knew his actions had hurt Zoe deeply, and winning her back would not be easy. Morning sunlight seeped through the curtains onto Zoe Lin's haggard face. She slowly opened her eyes and stared at the empty space beside her, a sharp pain shooting through her heart. Zane Su had left for the company early again, leaving her alone with their fractured relationship. Zoe dragged her tired body out of bed, washed up briefly, and sat in front of her easel, but she couldn't bring herself to paint. Once, painting had been her soul's refuge, but now her inner suffering had drained her of inspiration. The vivid, lively colors that once danced on her canvas now seemed lifeless, just like her love with Zane, fading dimly day by day. Just then, her phone rang. It was her best friend, Lila. "Zoe, how are you? Did anything happen at the dinner last night?" Zoe held back her tears and told Lila about the strange woman. Lila was furious. "This Zane Su, how many times does he have to hurt you? Zoe, you can't go on like this. You have to think about your own happiness." "I know, Lila, but I really can't let go of this relationship. I've given so much. How can I just drop it?" Zoe sobbed. "But he doesn't know how to cherish you. Look at what you've become. You can't let him keep trampling on your feelings," Lila pleaded gently. After hanging up, Zoe fell into deep thought. She knew Lila was right, but every time she recalled the sweet days with Zane, she couldn't help hesitating. Images of them walking by the sea, watching sunrise on the mountain, hugging in the rain played in her mind like a movie, making it impossible for her to choose. Meanwhile, Zane Su was distracted at work. The woman from the night before made him realize things were getting more complicated. He knew he had to end things with her quickly, or he would lose Zoe completely. Yet work pressure left him with no time. Urgent meetings and project plans kept piling up, leaving him little chance to think about winning Zoe back. After work, Zane returned home exhausted and found Zoe sitting blankly on the sofa. He stepped forward and gently hugged her. "Zoe, I'm sorry. I know I've let you down again. Give me some time. I'll fix everything." Zoe said nothing, but tears silently streamed down her face. Just then, Zane's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and his face darkened. After a moment's hesitation, he stepped aside to answer. Zoe watched his back, her doubts growing deeper. A soft, coquettish voice came from the other end. "Zane, when are you coming to see me? I miss you so much." Zane lowered his voice. "Stop calling me. We're done. He hung up and turned to find Zoe staring at him, her eyes full of disappointment and anger. Who is she? What are you hiding from me? Zoe demanded. Zoe, it's really nothing. She's just clinging to me. I made it clear we won't contact each other again. Zane explained anxiously. Do you really think I'll believe you anymore? Zane Sue, I've had enough. Zoe broke down crying. This time, Zoe did not soften her heart. She packed her bags and left home despite Zane's attempts to stop her. She walked on the street, watching the crowds pass by, feeling utterly lonely and lost. She didn't know where to go or how to move forward. Before she knew it, Zoe arrived at a cafe. She sat in a corner and ordered a coffee, trying to calm down. Just then, a familiar figure appeared in front of her. Asher. When Asher saw Zoe's swollen eyes and haggard face, his heart ached. Zoe, what's wrong? Did Zane Sue hurt you again? Zoe looked up and saw his concerned gaze. She could no longer hold back her 委屈 and told him everything. Asher listened quietly and handed her a tissue. Zoe, you're a good girl. You don't deserve this kind of pain. Maybe you need time and space to figure out what you really want. With Asher's company, Zoe's mood gradually calmed. He talked with her about everything, daily trivialities, life dreams. His humor and thoughtfulness brought her a long-lost warmth. With Zane, she had always carefully adjusted to his pace. With Asher, she could be herself without holding back, sharing her joys and sorrows freely. After that, Asher often invited Zoe out for walks and movies. He comforted her when she was sad and gave her advice when she was lost. Zoe gradually grew used to having Asher around. She found herself developing special feelings for him different from her love for Zane, calmer, warmer, and safer. Yet every time Zoe thought about her past with Zane, she was filled with conflict. She felt it unfair to Asher, since she hadn't fully moved on. Meanwhile, after Zoe left, Zane began to reflect on his actions. He realized he truly loved her, but had lost his way chasing his career and ignored her feelings. Zane decided to put his work aside and focus entirely on winning Zoe back. He searched everywhere for her, sent countless texts, called over and over, but Zoe didn't respond. He went to her studio and her favorite spots, but found no trace of her. One day, Zane ran into Lila on the street. He stopped her, anxious. Lila, do you know where Zoe is? I've been looking for her. I really need to explain. Lila saw his miserable state and felt a flicker of pity, but thinking of how he hurt Zoe, she spoke coldly. Now you're worried. Too late. Zoe has decided to leave you. Don't bother her anymore. No, Lila, I know I was wrong. I can't live without her. Please tell me where she is, Zane begged. Do you really think she'll forgive you even if I tell you? You've hurt her enough, Lila said, then turned and left. Zane stood on the street, watching Lila's back, filled with despair. He knew he might really lose Zoe this time. But he refused to give up. He decided to keep searching until he found her. With Asher's company, Zoe's life gradually got back on track. She picked up her brush again and started creating new works. In her painting, she poured her pain, struggle, and confusion about the future. Her style changed to no longer full of sunshine and hope, but deeper and more restrained. When Asher saw Zoe's transformation, he felt both relieved and worried. He knew she was trying to move on, but he feared she was only using him to temporarily escape her feelings for Zane. He didn't know how to face this relationship or what was truly in Zoe's heart. One day, Asher and Zoe went to an art exhibition together. One of Zoe's paintings caught much attention. It showed a girl standing at a crossroads, with two paths ahead, one shrouded in darkness, the other glowing with faint light. Asher stared at the painting and understood her inner struggle. Zoe, haven't you decided which way to go? Asher asked softly. Zoe nodded slightly, a hint of confusion in her eyes. Asher, I'm so grateful for your company and help these days. But I still haven't fully let go of Zane. I feel like I'm being unfair to you. Asher held her hand and said earnestly, Zoe, I don't care. I just want you to be happy and find true love. If you need more time to sort things out with Zane, I'll wait. Zoe looked into Asher's sincere eyes, tears blurring her vision again. She knew Asher was someone she could trust for life, but her heart was still tied to the past, making it hard for her to decide. In the days that followed, Zoe sank deeper into conflict. On one hand, she enjoyed the warmth Asher gave her. On the other, she couldn't let go of her history with Zane. She didn't know how to choose to end her pain and find real happiness. Zoe's inner struggle grew more intense with each passing day, while Zane's search never stopped. He was like a trapped beast lost in a maze, full of regret and anxiety, chasing every possible clue to find her. One day, as Zane waited bitterly downstairs at Zoe's place, he ran into Lila again. He rushed forward desperately, exhaustion and despair in his eyes. Lila, please. Tell me where Zoe is. I really can't live without her. I've thought so much these days. I know I was wrong. I'll spend my life making it up to her. Lila looked at his haggard appearance and felt a complex twist in her heart. But remembering Zoe's suffering, she hardened her voice. Zane Su, where were you all this time? Zoe is finally starting a new life. Don't disturb her anymore. A new life. What do you mean? Zane Su's heart sank violently, and a terrible premonition washed over him. Lila Gu snorted coldly. She already has someone new who truly cherishes her. Let her go and stop bothering her. Zane Su was stunned as if struck by lightning. He never imagined Zoe would move on so quickly. But he refused to believe it was true. He decided to find Zoe and ask her himself. Meanwhile, the relationship between Zoe Lin and Chen Asher was quietly changing. Asher's feelings for Zoe grew deeper, and Zoe gradually relied on him more and more. Yet late at night, Zane's figure still appeared in her mind, and the old memories lingered like ghosts. One day, as Zoe and Asher walked in the park, Zane suddenly appeared. When he saw them holding hands, his anger exploded. Zoe Lin. Who is he? Have you forgotten about us already? Zoe was shocked and instinctively let go of Asher's hand. Zane Su, how did you find me here? It doesn't matter how I found you. What matters is why you're doing this to me. Zane's eyes blazed, his emotions out of control. Asher stepped forward, shielding Zoe behind him. Calm down. Look what you've done to her. What right do you have to question her? This is between Zoe and me. None of your business. Zane roared. The three fell into an awkward, suffocating standoff. Zoe looked at the two men, her heart in turmoil. She didn't know how to face the sudden scene, and tears welled up in her eyes. Zane Su, we're over. You destroy us yourself. Don't chase me anymore, Zoe said, gathering her courage. No, Zoe, I don't believe it. I know I was wrong. Give me one more chance. Let's start over, please, Zane begged. Zoe shook her head. We can't go back, Zane. I tried, but the damage is too deep. Zane was about to speak when his phone rang. He answered impatiently, and his face turned pale instantly. The woman's voice came from the other end, and Zoe faintly heard the word baby. Her heart jolted. What's going on? Zane Su, are you still hiding something from me? Zoe demanded. Zane hung up in panic, avoiding her eyes. Nothing. Just work. Zoe stared at his expression and already knew the truth. Her heart turned completely cold. He still had so many secrets. Zane Su, leave. I never want to see you again, Zoe said coldly. Zane tried to explain, but seeing Zoe's determined gaze, he knew nothing could be undone. He turned away numbly, his figure lonely and defeated. Watching him leave, Zoe broke down in tears. Asher gently held her, offering silent comfort. From that day on, Zoe decided to fully let go of the past and start a new life with Asher. She poured all her energy into her work, and her paintings gained more and more recognition. With Asher's support, she held her own small exhibition, which was an unexpected success. As for Zane Su, after losing Zoe, his life fell apart. Mistakes at work got him into trouble, his partners lost trust in him, and his career suffered a devastating setback. He began drinking heavily, drowning in pain and regret every day. One night, drunk at a bar, Zane ran into the woman he'd been involved with. Seeing his miserable state, she felt no pity. "Well, if it isn't Mr. Su. What happened to you?" Zane looked up at her, filled with disgust. "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, Zoe and I would still be together." The woman sneered. "Blame me. Don't forget you were the one who couldn't stay faithful. Regret now. Too late." With that, she left, leaving Zane passed out drunk alone in the bar. After everything she'd been through, Zoe became stronger and more mature. She realized love wasn't everything, and that only by loving herself could she find true happiness. Zane, too, slowly sobered up in his suffering. He knew he had lost the most precious thing in his life, and he could never get it back. As time passed, Zoe and Zane's lives went in completely opposite directions. With Asher by her side, Zoe succeeded in both career and love. They planned their future together, full of hope. Zane, after countless lonely nights, finally decided to pick himself up and make up for his mistakes. Even though he knew Zoe would never return, he wanted to put his own life back on track. Zoe's art exhibition was a huge success. The gallery was crowded, and people stopped to admire and praise her beautiful paintings. Zoe wore a simple, elegant white dress, smiling as she walked through the crowd, thanking every visitor. Confidence and happiness shone in her eyes. The girl once broken by love had completely transformed. Asher stood quietly in the corner, watching Zoe shine. His heart was filled with pride and love. He knew how much she had suffered to get here, and he was willing to stay by her side and protect this hard-won happiness. As the exhibition neared its end and the crowd thinned, Asher walked slowly toward Zoe. He held a bouquet of flowers and looked at her deeply. "Zoe, you're beautiful today. You deserve this success. I'm so proud of you." Zoe took the flowers, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "Asher, thank you. Without you, I would have given up long ago. You supported me, encouraged me, and gave me the courage to start over." Asher gently held her hands. "Zoe, I love you. I want to be with you forever, share your joys and sorrows, and witness every wonderful moment of your future. Will you marry me?" He pulled out a ring. The diamond sparkled brightly under the lights, just like their love. Zoe looked into Asher's sincere eyes and tears flowed freely. She nodded softly. "I do." Asher hugged her tightly. Time seemed to stop. The staff and remaining friends applauded, sending their sincere blessings. During the wedding preparations, Zoe and Asher picked out the dress, designed invitations, and decorated their new home together. Every detail was sweet and joyful. Zoe's parents adored Asher. Seeing their daughter happy again relieved their worries. On the other side, after hitting rock bottom, Zane reflected deeply on his life. He realized his obsession with career and irresponsibility in love had cost him the most important person. He decided to leave the past behind and start over. Zane quit his old job and used his savings to start a small investment firm. He focused on his work, studied hard, and with his financial experience and sharp business sense, the company gradually stabilized. Though his career improved, a hollow space remained in Zane's heart. Whenever he saw couples holding hands on the street or past places he once visited. With Zoe, deep longing and regret washed over him. One day, Zane ran into Lila Gu on the street. She was surprised to see him. The old arrogance was gone, he was calm and steady now. "Zane Su, long time no see," Lila said. Lila Gu, "Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? Zayn replied politely. I'm good. And you? I heard you started your own company. Seems you're doing okay, Lila said, her tone slightly distant. Zayn smiled bitterly. Getting by. Lila, I know I did so many wrong things and hurt Zoe. Can you tell me how she's doing now? Lila looked at him and hesitated. She's very happy. She and Asher are getting married. Zayn's heart ached sharply. Even though he'd expected it, hearing the news still broke his control. Is that so? That's good. I'm glad she's happy, Zayn said, holding back his pain. Zayn Su, let the past go. You should move on too, Lila said, a hint of sympathy in her eyes. I know. Thank you, Lila. Zayn turned and left. Lila watched his back and sighed softly. She knew Zayn truly regretted it. But some things, once missed, can never be fixed. Zoe Lin and Chen Asher's wedding was held on a sunny day. The venue was warmly and romantically decorated, with flowers and ribbons woven together to create a dreamlike atmosphere. Zoe wore a pure white wedding dress and held a bouquet, walking slowly toward Asher accompanied by her father. A happy smile lit up her face, and her eyes were fixed only on him. Asher Chen wore a handsome suit, his eyes filled with love and anticipation. When he saw Zoe coming toward him, his heart raced with excitement. He secretly vowed to spend his whole life protecting this woman and making her happy forever. Amid the blessings of family and friends, Zoe Lin and Chen Asher exchanged rings and promised each other a lifetime. They walked hand in hand down the red carpet, starting a new chapter in their lives. Married life was peaceful and joyful. Zoe continued to focus on her painting career, and her works were loved and collected by more people. When Asher was free from work, he traveled and visited art exhibitions with her, and they shared many wonderful moments together. As for Zayn Su, while working hard, he also began to try meeting new people and starting a new relationship. Although he knew Zoe's place in his heart could never be replaced, he understood life must go on and he could not keep drowning in past pain. Days passed. Zoe and Asher grew closer, their life full of love and laughter. Zayn also moved forward on his own path. Though he still thought of Zoe occasionally, she had become a precious memory in his heart. The two who once loved each other now walked different roads. Zoe found happiness in new love, and Zayn stood up again after setbacks. Their story was like a journey in life, with laughter, tears, regrets, and growth. But no matter what, life always went on, and every new beginning brought new hope and possibilities.